Everybody smiles in the same language. A smile, let your light come shining through.
Welcome to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. I'm Sandra M., coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment. I interview people from all parts of the world about what happiness means to them. What are they in love with? In each episode, we'll give you a key to happiness to include in your life, and of course, we'll play a happy tune from my live Celebrate Happiness Roadshow.
A smile doesn't cost you anything.
Today we're talking with Benny Watson. Benny is an active performing musician in San Francisco Bay Area, California. He plays piano and keyboard instruments, sings, composes music, accompanies singers and other instrumentalists, and plays in a wide variety of musical situations, from nightclubs, restaurants, private events, dances, memorials, churches, and just for fun. He has recorded 5 CDs and is currently recording his original music and songs for a legacy project. Welcome, Benny. I'm excited to talk to you about happiness.
Thank you, Sandra. It's good to be here.
Yes. And so we have worked together in the past, and I'm really excited to start out with the question I ask everybody is, what makes you happy in life?
I think that probably one of the big sources of happiness in my life is my family. I have 4 children and 5 granddaughters. So that's a source of a lot of satisfaction and happiness for me. Also, I enjoy fairly robust, good health. I'm knocking on wood right now. But
yes.
So that's an important thing for me.
Yes, 5 grandchildren. Wow, what are their ages?
From age 4 up to 17 now. Yeah, they're getting up there. So yeah. So I like to say I have a terrible joke. 5 girls, so that the society can thank me, because those 5 girls will get paid what 4 boys would get paid. That's a terrible joke. In fact,
no, I think it's fantastic.
Anyway, go on. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I enjoy living in Santa Fe, and you're out there in Oakland, California. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. And it's
so
overcast today, but nice.
Okay, but I understand that Oakland is a highly creative place. Lots of great music and many other creative art installations and things of that nature seem to come out of Oakland. Even going back to, who is that woman who said a rose is a rose is a rose? Gertrude Stein, right? She was in Oakland. Right.
Yes.
So how do you feel about living in Oakland as a musician?
It a lot. Oakland is nicely located in the Bay Area. The Bay Area surrounds the San Francisco Bay, and so Oakland was the terminus of the railroad going west, and armaments and things like that during World War II were actually brought to Oakland first and then transshipped from there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I like Oakland because it is diverse, and we have good weather here. And then I like to kid my San Francisco friends. We also have good parking here.
Yes, right. It's so true.
So,
Yes, yes.
indeed.
And anyone who has looked for a parking place in, excuse me, in San Francisco, I mean, you can't even find one, right? I mean, that's the truth of it.
It's becoming more and more expensive, and they're running it later. They're trying to discourage the use of private cars and more for using public transportation. So, in fact, I have a steady gig that I'm going to be playing tonight in San Francisco, and I take the BART in. And I catch the last station out of West Oakland, and then I get off at the first station in San Francisco and walk up to my gig, and then at the end of the night I walk back down, and I can take any train then that's going east without necessarily having to worry about where the ultimate destination is. And it's kind of maybe a metaphor for my life. I like the idea of just being able to take the next train through and, and being able to get to my destination. You know, I was born in 1945, and so I've been thinking a lot about aging and what makes me happy and things like that. And even looking at what I call inflection points in my life. How did I end up being a musician when in fact, I wasn't a supremely gifted musician, but it did suit my personality, who I am as a person. I've been looking back now and I read a book. I loved reading. I think reading is important to happiness, certainly for me. I looked up some synonyms for happiness: exhilaration, bliss, delight, enjoyment, good fortune, cheerfulness, pleasure, contentment, joy, to be pleased and glad. And I think about, people in my children's generation that use the word, oh, it's awesome, dude. Well, if you've been to the Grand Canyon, that's awesome. If you look at a beautiful, beautiful sunset, that's awesome. If you look at these pictures from the James Webb telescope, that when you realize what you're seeing are galaxies upon galaxies. I mean, the Milky Way is a galaxy, and then we look out in the past and we see, oh my goodness, just endless. So to me, that's actually a source of joy that people have worked together to create this wonderful instrument that we can look into the past, because that's exactly what it's doing. It's looking at light that's very old, so things like that. And I play music, and I'm lucky to play music. It's brought me very, very good fortune, Good fortune.
Could you tell us some of the good fortunes?
Join Sandra M. for her live performance of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, a toast to love and happiness in life, an uninhibited musical adventure guaranteed to awaken your happiness vibe. Celebrate with upbeat rhythms, love songs, and fun stories, some told by you in the audience. Sandra's musical guest and accompanist, Todd Lowry, sings his hopeful and happy originals. To book Sandra M. and the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, email sandra@sandramcknight.com. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
Tell us some of those good fortunes.
Well, the people surrounded me with. As I said, my predilection was that as kind of an introspective child, somewhat. I mean, I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, between a couple of rivers, and I thought I was Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn or somebody like that. But you know, so I was let's say it this way, a boy's boy that way. You know, loved to ride my bicycle and go to the park, but at the same time, I was kind of a dreamy child. I think a little bit. You know, I was the youngest of three boys, and my dad had kind of a predilection towards philosophy, even though he was in the grocery business. My mother was a very practical woman raised on a farm in Oklahoma, and she was the one that taught me to use a hammer and a screwdriver and a paintbrush and things like that. And she was also the person that sat beside me on the piano bench and said practice and counted and did the kind of things that you have to do as you're coming up as a budding musician. So I've been blessed with good fortune, you know.
Yes. And you followed your dreams, it seems to me. You followed your purpose, your sense of, you said to me in this, just a minute ago, you said, I wasn't the best musician in the beginning, although I can attest, having worked with you and listened to you play, that you are an outstanding musician. Maybe not in the beginning, but certainly now. And so I can attest to that. You're welcome. But then you somehow followed your heart, or you just knew that you wanted to be a musician. Is that correct? Somehow it was just the right thing for you, is what you said. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Well,
it made you happy, or what?
Well, okay, so I was also brought up in a very, very practical sense. My parents were both children of the Depression, so I worked from a young age. I cut grass for my neighbors when I was 10 and 11 and stuff like that. But by the time I got into high school, I was playing dance jobs with, I grew up in Wichita, but then my last 2 years of high school, we moved to McPherson, Kansas, which at that time was a town of 10,000. Now it's fluffed up. It must be clear up to 12,000 now. Anyway, so I say that kind of in jest. But
right.
With my high school band director, I wasn't even a member of the band. I was in the high school chorus and in the madrigal group and stuff like that. But anyway, we played dance jobs, and we played all over the Bay Area, not Bay Area, pardon me, all over the area where I was living. So that would be, you would travel to the next small town and play at the VFW and that kind of thing. So I kind of just came into playing music professionally kind of in a left-handed way. It was just a very practical thing to do. As I said, my dad was a grocer, and he was working as a manager for a man who owned 3 stores. So, of course, they enlisted me to work in some of the stores. If they were short-handed, I got the call and had to travel to Galva or Lindsborg or wherever and be the sub guy. Well, compared to playing music and how much it paid, and the satisfaction of it, that was real work. It did satisfy me on a certain level, because one of the things you can do with a grocery store is when you stock a shelf, at the end of the day, it's done. Now, with music, it's kind of never done unless you make recordings and stuff like that. But, so I went on to college to be a music education major. That proved not to be the case for me. I just It wasn't in the cards for me. That was the Vietnam War era. I spent a lot of time actually in college, frankly, dodging the draft. I ended up as a conscientious objector and did 2 years of alternate service up in Seattle, Washington, which was where both of my sons were born. Then I have a stepson and a daughter. So from my 2 marriages. So
I applaud you. I totally applaud you as a conscientious objector. And, I think that goes along with the concept of just really, even in the Bible, I'm not sure exactly where in the Bible, but it's quoted that peace and justice cannot actually be available to humans unless there's joy. So they talk about it as peace and justice and joy. You have to have joy in order to have peace and justice in the world. And I just think that goes along with the whole concept of not fighting, not being in a war all the time, and et cetera, et cetera. Being happy to me has a larger sensibility to it. I really do believe that happy people who sort of follow their heart and have a happy heart make happier choices in life. And that sort of leads them into understanding the world from a different perspective and being kind to other people and having compassion for yourself and compassion for other people. I guess I'm on my soap opera box here. So what do you think? Am I on the right track, or what are your ideas?
That's it exactly. And as I said, I'm in more of a ripe. I guess I'm truly in old age at this point. I was born in 1945. I'll let all of your listeners do the math. I work in a very youth-oriented business, but at the same time, my skill set now is at its height. The thing is it doesn't have to stop. I mean,
right.
I talk with my friends and people that I coach, singers and such. I say what we're dealing with is attention. So if you sing a song and the song lasts for 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, then what you want to do is work on being present for those 3.5 or 5 minutes. And then you can think about what's for dinner, or do I need to get the car serviced, or whatever about that. But in those 3 to 5 minutes, your attention is focused on what is the song, what is the lyric, what is the melody, what am I trying to say through that. Now, see, I have a bigger view of what a musician does, which is I believe that we're sending out positive vibrations out into the universe, and that maybe someone on another planet, which is almost a statistical certainty, would be, if they could, listen to us and go, oh, well, they're not all just about wars and killing and it's so much sadness on TV and things like that. And I've been looking at people who do I want to model my life after, like Willie Nelson or Tony Bennett or even Clint Eastwood or Woody Allen or Duke Ellington, who played right up till his last days on the road. Jane Fonda, oh my goodness, Lily Tomlin, the Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney.
We invite you and yours this October 2023 for an intimate 14-day happiness journey to Bhutan, the lost kingdom of happiness. Experience the magnificent beauty, magic, and mystery of this ancient culture that calculates the gross national happiness of its people. Happiness, Bhutan style, is an adventure of a lifetime. For our itinerary, go to BhutanLostKingdomTours.com and click on Special Packages. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
One of them that I thought about a lot is this guy, Pablo Casals. My sweetheart plays cello. And Pablo Casals had a couple of great lines. One is that he got up every day and he played the Bach cello suites, one of them, or and they go, well, why do you do that? I mean, he goes, well, I'm beginning to get it. I really love that. It's like, I keep practicing because I'm beginning to finally get it. And then he goes, we must all work to make the world worthy of its children. And I think that here we are. I mean, we're the older generation now. It's going very fast. The age we're in with the methods of communication, and we never, I don't think, really envisioned how much people would jump into that with negativity, with dishonesty, with malice and such. So I think it's very important for us as the older generation, and I put that in quotes because I don't feel old. I feel like I'm still the same person I was inside when I was, in my teens and 20s, except I'm a little more accepting of myself. I'm a little more like, you made a mistake, okay, move on, okay? Or if you're in the studio and you make a mistake, you go, hold it, roll back, let's do it again until you get it. So, or we can go back and my friend John, who is my engineer, and I can see the notes on a screen on it. And I go, oh, that little one over there, take that one out. That was, my finger just happened to hit the key, but wasn't intentional. Right. So anyway, I'm seeing that in my older age, and I'm thinking that I do have the idea of a legacy, something I want to leave to my granddaughters.
Excuse me a moment. I have a question. When you no, I love what you're saying. I just want to clarify something. Right, I know. No, but I just think I want to just clarify. When you say legacy, could you tell me what that really means to you?
Well, what I have done is, ever since I was in high school, I have composed songs. But I came up being very self-effacing, and I can't be an artist. I can't do this. I can't do that. So I would make songs, but they have existed only either in my mind or in situations where I go and play with friends and stuff like that. And or if I'm playing solo, I perform some of them. I want them to be heard. So the way they're going to be heard is by me recording them and then being able to disseminate them. And I have recorded a lot of them solo, but now I want to expand on them more with my friends I have some wonderful musician friends who are great artists, and and so I'm having them join me. They're not doing it for free. I'm paying them. I pay for the studio. Right. So in other words, one could say, and rightly so, that it's a vanity project. But on the other hand, I feel they're worthy, and so by gum, hey, I want to please myself so that at the end of the day, I feel happy because I can go back and listen to it and say, you did some good work there. This sounds
right.
great. This is rocking.
And also your children. And your children and other people will be able to listen to your music, your creativity, and the fact that it made you happy, it's going to make other people. I love this concept that you have come up with, that when we play music, it's really sound vibration going out into the universe. And it doesn't even have to have lyric. I mean, the lyrics are not even, it's just the sound really just uplifts the heart and the sensibility of a human being. At one time I worked with people who were catatonic, and this is when I was in college, and I was doing dance work with catatonic people, helping them to sort of find any kind of connection to other people. And so one of the things that I was told is that the waltz, the music, the rhythm of the waltz is not offensive to the catatonic mindset. And they actually will be moved by that rhythm of the waltz. That's many, many years ago, and I can still remember that. Just the idea of the rhythm of the waltz. No lyrics, just the sound and the rhythm. So I think you're absolutely right on with that.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I mean, I was thinking to myself, well, the waltz just makes me catatonic, but
yes,
no, I jest.
No, I mean,
jest.
No, but you can sit down and play the piano, and all of a sudden you're in another world. Yes.
Well,
so
there's two elements of music that I think we need to, and you mentioned one of them, which is sound, which is vibration. But the equally important issue in music is silence. That is the between the notes sound. And I think that's it. You can say there's good music, there's bad music. What define good music is that's played well with heart and soul. Bad music might be music that was, I don't know, bad music. I don't even want to entertain that necessarily.
Right.
I'm more interested in the positive. But I think as far as happiness, that look to our center. Who are we really? Try and surround ourselves with people of good cheer who are telling us the truth, so that if we're in the studio and something isn't up to snuff, that our good friend would say, let's do it again. That's not you. That's not good enough. This is not. None of this is a panacea for anxiety and depression and struggle and looking at the world realistically and everything like that. But it can. And I have a friend who was playing in a nightclub, playing solo piano, actually in a lobby of a hotel. And after about an hour, this couple came up to him and they said, this last hour listening to your music was the most peace that we've had for the past month because our son just passed away. And so it's that thing that we can do that we don't even know that we might be affecting somebody or something, just by doing it, because this is what we do. We do it with sincerity. We do it with passion. We do it with a cheerful heart. We do it with joy in our heart, that we're pleased to be where we are because we get to do something that we love to do. And I know you love to make these podcasts, and power to you. By God, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, I have nothing more to say.
And that is a fabulous way to. It is a fabulous way to close. I want to thank you so much. Benny. I look forward to seeing you soon out in Oakland. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra. My pleasure.
Key to happiness number 7. Breathe deeply. You're tense, your shoulders are tight, and you feel as though you just might lose it. We all know that feeling.
Instinct may tell you to take a long, deep breath to calm yourself down. When you feel stressed, work through these steps. Close your eyes. Try to envision a happy memory or a beautiful place.
Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose on a count of 4. Slowly breathe out through your mouth or your nose on a count of 4. And repeat this process several times until you start to feel yourself calm down.
Thank you for tuning in to Celebrate Happiness with us. And before we go, again, I'd like to thank today's guest, Benny Watson, for sharing his happiness story. Share your happiness story on the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast by emailing me, Sandra, at sandramcknight.com.
Turn your smile on, you can't go wrong.